What's up, YouTube? My name is Big Boy Snacks on TV, aka what kind of snacks you want, because I got plenty going around. This is my WWE Raw review on highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please full watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button right now. Subscribe to my channel for my rest content that I do on the channel, because I'm on the road to 11K. Follow my social media down below in the description. Now let's get started. Now WWE Raw was a pretty good show for what it was, but I was so upset that they let Karrion Kross and Scarlett go. And that's all I gotta say. I was just upset that that WWE and TKO dropped the ball on Scarlett and Karrion Kross, and the crowd did not chant we want Karrion Kross. They did not chant that name. So anyway, let's get started. Then now forever together. The WWE video leads us into the show. Last week on Raw, Seth Rollins battled LA Knight in the main event with the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. CM Punk interfered, costing LA Knight the match after Braun Breaker and Big Bronson Reed, who were banned from ringside, attacked them. Roman Reigns came out for the save, but he was also destroyed. Bronson Reed stole Roman Reigns' shoes again. Michael Cole and Corey Graves welcomes us to the show. We were supposed to have a Women's World Championship match tonight, but Naomi is not medically cleared to compete. So what does this mean? If Naomi is injured and she's not medically cleared, are they gonna make Naomi relinquish the Women's World Championship? She just won it at SummerSlam. That'll be upset that if Triple H tells Naomi to relinquish the Women's World Championship and Naomi just won it at SummerSlam. That doesn't even make any sense. If that happens, I'm gonna crash out. But Naomi deserves the Women's World Champion because Naomi deserves the Women's World Heavyweight Champion because she just won. She just cashed it in and won it at SummerSlam. So why would she want to relinquish the Women's World Championship? I don't know. We'll see. I just had to put that out there. But anyway, CM Punk kicks off WWE Raw. This was a pretty good segment by CM Punk. CM Punk's music hits to a big ovation. CM Punk makes his way to the ring, and the crowd loudly chants his name. CM Punk says it is great to be alive on Monday Night Raw in Quebec City or what. They make it hard for him to stay angry, but then he thinks about how he should be the World Heavyweight Championship World Heavyweight Champion right now. CM Punk should be here representing this company and the people as champion, but he's not. CM Punk is a little bit angry about it. CM Punk has a Seth Rollins problem. The self-professed visionary who can't see what's right in front of his face. Seth Rollins is trying his best to beat CM Punk and falling miserably. CM Punk says he climbed to the top of the mountain for the first time in 12 years and became champion at SummerSlam. Another CM Punk chant fires up. CM Punk appreciates the cheers and chants, but he can't help but feel that he let them down because he's not a champion. If they thought before that he was relentless in pursuing his goals and getting that title, he's even more possessed to regain the title. They say to hate the player and not the game. CM Punk has crashed in a few times, but he hates the player. Seth Rollins is pretending to be CM Punk and pretending to be injured, so everyone had their guard down. Seth Rollins cash in. Next time they fight, he'll take the title. Seth Rollins won't have to pretend to be injured because he'll break his legs. LA Knight heads to the ring to a huge reaction. LA Knight gets in the ring and stares at CM Punk. LA Knight then extends his hand. CM Punk shakes it and talks to him, but we can't hear what he's saying. CM Punk then asks if he has something to say. LA Knight always has something to say. So let me talk to you. Everyone knows CM Punk was robbed at SummerSlam. CM Punk climbed the mountain and rose to the occasion by beating Gunther and winning the World Heavyweight Championship. CM Punk deserves to have his rematch. CM Punk nods his head in agreement and says, yeah. LA Knight then says, but last week I'm having my match. It has nothing to do with you. I'm having my match with Seth Rollins, and what do? You came down. You can't contain yourself. LA Knight says CM Punk cost him his opportunity. LA Knight understands, but it was the wrong place and time. LA Knight says he doesn't deserve a problem with CM Punk. LA Knight says if CM Punk wants Seth Rollins, he should whip his you know what, but he should do it on his time. CM Punk should have his rematch after LA Knight gets his. CM Punk says he thinks he sees LA Knight's perspective, but the word he's looking for are thank you, Mr. CM Punk, for preventing Seth Rollins from ending my career. CM Punk asks if LA Knight thought he'd become the World Heavyweight Champion after Seth Rollins stomped his head into the concrete. CM Punk says he saved LA Knight's career. CM Punk says he's a former world heavyweight champion, not LA Knight. CM Punk should be in the front. LA Knight needs to go to the back of the line. LA Knight says when he thinks about what CM Punk did, think doesn't come before you. CM Punk did something special after 12 years. He was overdue, but LA Knight is even more overdue. There are levels to this. As good as CM Punk is, he's not on LA Knight's level. LA Knight wants them to stay out of each other's way. LA Knight will do him two favors. LA Knight will forget last week happened as long as CM Punk stays on his side of the line. LA Knight will beat Seth Rollins and become World Heavyweight Champion. CM Punk can be his first successful title defense. Yeah, CM Punk says in the spirit of making sure there's no bad blood between them. He reminds him that he's the best in the world. And ladies and gentlemen, Paul Heyman comes out to the stage with the Tribal Thief Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Paul Heyman starts to speak French, but then he stops. Paul Heyman only knows what he needs to speak to get out of this province, speaking their guttural language. The crowd chants something, but I can't make it out. Paul Heyman says, speaking of guttural language, LA Knight takes it from the adorable Oracle. Do not get into the favor business with CM Punk. If you start trading favors with him, it will cost him everything in life. It will cost you your self-respect, your position in WWE, half your career, years of your life, and your tribal chief. CM Punk calls him a crybaby. CM Punk calls him a crybaby. Someone is getting punched in the face tonight. CM Punk invites them down to the ring. Paul Heyman says he did teach CM Punk correctly after all these years. That's a great idea. Tonight they'll do it tonight. CM Punk and LA Knight versus the future of WrestleMania, Braun Breaker, and the owner of the Shoe La Fala, Bronson Reed. That challenge is for tonight. CM Punk and LA Knight look at each other. LA Knight says they don't want those two goops. CM Punk cuts him off and accepts that challenge. LA Knight says CM Punk doesn't speak for him, but he then accepts the challenge. Paul Heyman says, deal. See you tonight. Braun Breaker starts heading to the ring, but Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman hold him back. Braun Breaker shouts about CM Punk and LA Knight agree, saying they're over 100 years old combined. Good to start WWE Raw. They're definitely teasing a possible program with CM Punk and LA Knight. I wonder if that's what they're doing to drag this out until #WrestleMania, because CM Punk versus Seth Rollins shouldn't happen anywhere but there. Only issue is LA Knight should probably be heel. Alright, let's move on. That was a good promo with CM Punk and LA Knight. Replay last week on Raw. Dirty Dominic Mysterio defeated Dragon Lee after three people addressed as El Grande Americano attack. AJ Styles ran them off. So we get the Judgment Day Clubhouse. Ben Bella is talking with Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. JD Madonna is also there. WWE Intercontinental Champion Dirty Dominic Mysterio walks in with El Grande Americano. They aren't happy that Americano is here. Finn Balor speaks privately with Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio says he's the king of the luchadors and will use Americano to his advantage. Finn Balor hopes Dominic Mysterio will bring back the AAA Mega Championship. Dominic Mysterio tells him to trust Daddy Dom. Dominic Mysterio walks off with Americano. AJ Styles makes his entrance, heel team with Dragon Lee. So we go to commercial break. AAA Triple Mania is live this Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. It's live on YouTube in English and Spanish. Alright, so we get the first match, tag team match. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus El Grande Americano and WWE Intercontinental Champion Dirty Dominic Mysterio. And this tag team match right here itself, this was a good tag team match, and that's all I gotta say. Dragon Lee hits El Grande Americano with a suicide dive as they make their entrance. AJ Styles kicks Dominic Mysterio in the head and rolls him into the ring. The bell rings to start the match, and AJ Styles bounces Dominic Mysterio in the corner a few times. The crowd chants for Dominic Mysterio. AJ Styles hits Dominic Mysterio with a backbreaker before tagging Dragon Lee in. Dragon Lee comes off the top rope with a double axe handle to the arm. Dragon Lee wrenches the arm and snaps it. Dragon Lee sends Dominic Mysterio into the ropes, but Dominic Mysterio slides under the bottom rope. Dominic Mysterio gets in the ring and tags El Grande Americano in. El Grande Americano sends Dragon Lee to the corner and blocks a kick. El Grande Americano shouts at Dragon Lee and chops his chest. Americano charged, but Dragon Lee sidesteps him. Americano drops Dragon Lee on the apron, but Dragon Lee shoulders him back and bounces him off the corner. Dragon Lee hits a flying crossbody block for a 2 count. AJ Styles tags back in. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee sends Americano into the ropes before hitting a double team back elbow and some kicks. Dominic Mysterio runs in, but AJ Styles slings him into Dragon Lee, who hits a kind of weak looking powerbomb. Dominic Mysterio and Americano regroup at ringside. Everybody knows that's Ludwig Kaiser dressed as El Grande Americano, so that's Ludwig Kaiser by itself. I'm just putting it out there. So we go to commercial break. Back from the break, Dominic Mysterio takes AJ Styles down. Dominic Mysterio sends him into the ropes, but he lowers his head and eats a kick. AJ Styles then hits a Pele kick. Dragon Lee and Americano tag in. Dragon Lee dug a pair of clotheslines and hits a running hurricanrana. Dragon Lee clotheslines Americano and sends him into the ropes for a back body drop. But Americano goes for a sunset flip. Dragon Lee stops and double stomps the chest. Americano hits him with running kicks in the corner, followed by a pendulum drop kick. Dragon Lee throws his elbow pad into the audience and hits a running elbow to the jaw. Dominic Mysterio gets on the apron, but Dragon Lee knocks him down. Americano connects with a step up kick to the face, knocking him out of the ring. The referee tries to hold Americano back, so Dominic Mysterio used the distraction to send Dragon Lee into the ring steps. Dominic Mysterio and Americano seem to be friends. Americano puts Dragon Lee in the ring and ties the tail of his mask to the bottom turnbuckle. Dominic Mysterio puts a mask on and punches Dragon Lee in the ribs. Dominic Mysterio closes the chest and applies a weird chin lock. Dragon Lee fights back, but Dominic Mysterio punches him back and puts him on the top rope. Dominic Mysterio climbs the second rope and rips at the mask. Dominic Mysterio pulls him off the ropes and hits a running corner drop kick. Dominic Mysterio takes the mask off and taunts the crowd. So we go to commercial break. Back from the break, Americano is attacking Dragon Lee on the top rope. Dragon Lee knocks him down, so Americano holds himself up on the ropes. Dragon Lee then crushes him with a double stomp to the chest. Dragon Lee crawls to the corner, but Dominic Mysterio pulls AJ Styles off the apron. AJ Styles chases him around the ringside area, knocking Dominic Mysterio and the cameraman into the timekeeper's area. in the ring. Dragon Lee hits Americano with a German suplex followed by a super kick. AJ Styles finally tags in and he hits Americano with a strike combo, followed by a basement forearm. AJ Styles avalanches him in the corner before hitting in a Ugroshi. 1-2, Dominic Mysterio breaks it up. Dragon Lee super kicks Dominic Mysterio. AJ Styles then collapses and catapults Dragon Lee into Dominic Mysterio. Dragon Lee hits a monkey flip, and AJ Styles catches Dominic Mysterio for a Styles clash. Dragon Lee heads to the top rope, but Americano shoves him to the floor. Americano kicks AJ Styles, but AJ Styles fights back with a reverse DDT for a 2 count. AJ Styles sets up for a Styles clash, but Americano escapes. AJ Styles grabs him, but Americano snaps him off the top. Americano grabs the metal plate from his tights, but before he can put it under the mask, AJ Styles stuns him with a kick. Dominic Mysterio grabs the metal piece, puts his mask on, and puts the metal underneath. AJ Styles rolls Americano up, but he kicks out. The kick out sends AJ Styles into Dominic Mysterio, who headbutts him with the loaded mask. Americano covers for the win. The winner by pinfall, El Grande Americano, and the WWE Intercontinental Champion, Dirty Dominic Mysterio. This was a good tag team match, what it was. Good tag team match with Dominic Mysterio and Americano going over AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. They seem to have been given a little more time because Naomi was not medically clear so late in the day. Hashtag WWE Raw. Alright, let's move on. Video package. Earlier today, Sami Zayn came up to Raw General Manager Adam Pearce. Sami Zayn asked for a chance at the World Heavyweight Championship at WWE Clash in Paris. Adam Pearce says they should get through tonight with Rusev and then talk about it. Sheamus then walks in. Adam Pearce doesn't want any more madness with Rusev. Sami Zayn says tonight's match matters to him. Sami Zayn asks him as a friend not to get involved. Sheamus gives him his word, but the second the match is over, the bargain, you know what, is his. Sami Zayn makes his entrance. He'll face Rusev next. Commercial break. Backstage segment. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce is with Io Sky. Io Sky complains about not getting her promised title match. Adam Pearce says she'll get it once she knows more. Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez walks up and make fun of her. Roxanne Perez says she's lucky she doesn't have to lose to Naomi again. Io Sky suggests she has a match with Roxanne Perez. Adam Pearce makes it official. They showcase how many great have come from the province of Quebec. Names like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Pat Patterson, Rick Martel, the Quebecers, and others. Replay last week on Raw. Sheamus and Rusev had a war that ended in a double countout, and they continued to brawl, bumping into Sami Zayn in the process. The feud between Rusev and Sheamus is far from over. Alright, let's move on. So we get the second match. Alright, Sami Zayn versus Rusev. And this match right here, this was a decent match, what it was. The bell rings to start this match. They haven't fought in 8 years. Rusev has never beaten Sami Zayn. The crowd is into Sami Zayn. Rusev taunts the crowd, so Sami Zayn fires them up. Sami Zayn goes after him, but Rusev punches him down, dropping an elbow and stumps the chest. Rusev taunts the crowd and goes back to attacking Sami Zayn. Rusev hits some shoulder thrusts in the corner. Sami Zayn does a club and chops the chest before punching away at him in the corner. Sami Zayn is pumped up. Rusev reverses a whip and crushes Sami Zayn with a back elbow for a 2 count. Rusev kicks Sami Zayn and hits the ropes, but Sami Zayn elbows and boots him back. Sami Zayn knocks him out of the ring and kicks him back before hitting an aberrant press to the floor. Sami Zayn gets Rusev in the ring and ducks 2 clotheslines, but Rusev catches him and hits a swinging slide slam. So we go to commercial break. We return from the break to see Rusev punching Sami Zayn on the top rope. Rusev sets up for a superplex, but Sami Zayn blocks it. Sami Zayn punches him down to the canvas. Rusev charges, but Sami Zayn jumps over him and avoids an avalanche. Sami Zayn grabs the arm and chops the chest. And and climbs the ropes for a springboard tornado DDT. Sami Zayn gets up for a haluva kick, but he runs into a Munchka kick from Rusev. Rusev covers for a 2 count. Rusev signals for the end and stomps the spine. Sami Zayn fights out of the accolade and rolls him up for a near fall. Rusev charges, but Sami Zayn grabs him for an exploder attempt. Rusev elbows out and punches him in the face. Rusev puts Sami Zayn on the apron and ties his arms to the ropes. Rusev hits Sheamus 10 beats of the battering club and Sami Zayn down to the apron. Rusev grabs Sami Zayn by the hair, but Sami Zayn fires back with an exploder into the turnbuckles. Sami Zayn gets to his feet and gets the crowd going. Sami Zayn sets up for the haluva kick, but Tonga Loa and JC Mateo pull Sami Zayn out of the ring. Tala Tonga and WWE United States Championship Solo Sikoa are also there. JC Mateo and Tonga Loa attack and hold Sami Zayn up for Tala Tonga to boo Sami Zayn down. WWE officials run down and sends the MFTs to the back. The winner by disqualification, Sami Zayn. This was a decent match for what it was. Rusev slowly gets up at ringside, but he's crushed by a bro kick from Sheamus. Sheamus puts Rusev in the ring, and WWE security runs over. Sheamus beats them up. Alright, Rusev attacks Sheamus and sends him into the crowd. They brawl into the crowd. Rusev rips Sheamus' shirt off. Referee chase after them as they fight their way to the back. They said at the beginning that Rusev has never beaten Sami Zayn, and that remains true. Lost by DQ here. I wasn't expecting Sami Zayn to be attacked by MFT, so that was definitely a surprise. Hashtag WWE Raw. Commercial break. Replay. Moments ago, Sami Zayn was attacked by Solo Sikoa and the MFTs. Backstage segment. WWE security and Raw General Manager Adam Pearce kicked Solo Sikoa and the MFT out of the arena. Adam Pearce called General Manager Nick Aldis, but the referee Danny and Amphibio cuts him off. Amphibio says they separated Rusev and Sheamus, but Adam Pearce doesn't believe him. Grayson Waller and the New Day comes up to Adam Pearce. Xavier Woods complains about his hat being destroyed by Penta. Adam Pearce says Penta will face Xavier Woods next week, so Xavier Woods can get even for his sombrero. Adam Pearce says he's got business to attend to and walks off wildly. Alright, let's move on. Video package. Bronson Reed is wearing the Shula Fala and says he's got famous by destroying Seth Rollins. He earned Seth Rollins' respect so much that he was invited into the Vision. Bronson Reed doesn't respect Roman Reigns. Bronson Reed has punked Roman Reigns out twice. The only reason it hasn't happened at the third time is that Roman Reigns man up to him for a third time. When he does, Bronson Reed will add to his collection. He keeps doing it until Roman Reigns acknowledges tribal thief. Bronson Reed shouts tsunami. Big Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker will battle LA Knight and CM Punk in tonight's main event. Bronson Reed reminds me of Ezel from Friday taking Debo's shoes. So Bronson Reed took Roman Reigns' shoes twice. One from last week and one from the other last week on Raw too. All right, let me continue. WWE is live in Quebec City and presented by Sneakers. Alright. Gorilla position. Io Sky is walking through the tunnel by gorilla position. Asuka and Kairi Sane of the Kabuki Warriors offer to be in her corner to keep things fair. Io Sky declines and says she's got this. They hug before Io Sky walks off. We nearly got a damage control reunion. Io Sky makes her entrance. Commercial break. Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez, accompanied by Raquel Rodriguez. And this match right here, I might as well say, in my honest opinion, this was a good match between Io Sky and Roxanne Perez. All right. The bell rings and they circle the ring before locking up. Io Sky powers Roxanne Perez against the ropes, but Roxanne Perez turns her around. Roxanne Perez goes for a right hand, but Io Sky ducks it. Io Sky applies a wrist lock, but Roxanne Perez gets out and wrenches the arm. Io Sky fights back and wrenches her arm. Roxanne Perez rolls through and wrenches her arm, bringing Io Sky to her knees. Roxanne Perez soon applies a grapevine to the midsection and turns her over twice to pick up a 2 count. Io Sky pushes back and to pin Roxanne Perez's shoulders to the mat for a 2 count. Roxanne Perez hits a headlock takeover and picks up a 1 count. Io Sky applies a head scissors and cinches it in, but Roxanne Perez bridges out and gets to her feet. Roxanne Perez shoves Io Sky, so Io Sky angrily takes her down and applies a side headlock. Io Sky hits a headlock takeover, but Roxanne Perez applies a head scissors. Io Sky does a handstand and gets out before hitting a short-tail uppercut. Io Sky kicks away at Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez does a kick to the head and rolls her up for a 2 count. Roxanne Perez quickly slings her down by the hair and talks some trash. Roxanne Perez puts her in the corner and bounces her face off the top turnbuckle. Io Sky blocks a second attempt, and punches back. Roxanne Perez knees her in the midsection. Io Sky reverses a whip and drops down, but Roxanne Perez cartwheels over her and slaps her in the face. Io Sky is furious. Roxanne Perez does a clothesline and rolls her into a head scissor takeover, but Io Sky flips and lands on her feet. Io Sky slaps her in the face and hits the ropes before doing a cartwheel. Io Sky then drop kicks Roxanne Perez out of the ring. Raquel Rodriguez checks on Roxanne Perez, so Io Sky hits them with a suicide dive. Roxanne Perez managed to avoid a major impact and attacks Io Sky, sending her into the ring steps. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Roxanne Perez takes Io Sky down. Roxanne Perez puts her on the ropes and hits a running uppercut to the back of the neck. Roxanne Perez hits a double jump springboard moonsault for a 2 count. Io Sky struggles to get up, so Roxanne Perez talks some trash. Roxanne Perez smashes Io Sky's face off the middle turnbuckle a few times before backing up. Roxanne Perez hits a running uppercut and throws her down. Roxanne Perez goes to the second rope and leap, but Io Sky drop kicks her out of midair. Roxanne Perez rolls to the corner and Raquel Rodriguez checks on her. Io Sky hits a pair of clotheslines followed by a drop kick. Roxanne Perez reverses a whip, but Io Sky leaps to the apron. Io Sky kicks her back, but camera shows she really hit the top rope. Io Sky goes to the top rope and hits a missile drop kick before getting to her feet and firing up the crowd. Io Sky connects with a bullet train attack. 1-2. Roxanne Perez kicks out. The crowd chants this is awesome, which is I agree from the crowd. Io Sky heads to the top rope, but Roxanne Perez rolls to the apron. Io Sky grabs her by the hair, but Roxanne Perez pulls her down ribs first on the top rope. Roxanne Perez goes to the top rope and hits a super hurricanrana. Roxanne Perez crushes her with a cartwheel double knee to the back of the neck for a near fall. Roxanne Perez knocks her down and goes for a sunset flip, but Io Sky pops up and kicks her in the face. Io Sky ties her up for a bullet train attack, but Roxanne Perez moves out of the way. Raquel Rodriguez asks for a timeout, but Io Sky isn't having it. Io Sky drags her into the ring. As she does, Roxanne Perez pulls the apron into the ring. The referee goes to put it back, Roxanne Perez used the distraction to break the eyes and hits a shining wizard for a near fall. Roxanne Perez goes around the world to take her down and applies a crossface. Io Sky pushes back for a pin, but Roxanne Perez slaps her off for a 2 count. Io Sky hits a double underhook backbreaker and picks up a near fall. Io Sky slaps the mat in frustration. Raquel Rodriguez checks on Roxanne Perez again. Roxanne Perez falls out of the ring. Io Sky jumps over an attack from Raquel Rodriguez and kicks her away. Io Sky then hits them with a moonsault. Io Sky gets Roxanne Perez in the ring and heads to the top rope. Io Sky goes for the over the moonsault. Roxanne Perez gets her boots up, but Io Sky comes up short and actually land on her shin on Roxanne Perez's chest. Ouch. Raquel Rodriguez gets on the apron and distracts the referee. Roxanne Perez goes to take the top turnbuckle pad off, but Asuka and Kairi Sane run down to stop her. They hold Roxanne Perez up for Io Sky. Io Sky charge, but Roxanne Perez moves. Io Sky puts the brakes on before hitting Asuka and Kairi Sane. Roxanne Perez pushes Io Sky into them and rolls her up with a handful of tights for the win. The winner by pinfall, Roxanne Perez. This was a good match between Io Sky and Roxanne Perez. The Kabuki Warriors are not pleased with Io Sky. Io Sky tries to explain herself. In a prompt match with Io Sky and Roxanne Perez, but it was good. They seem to be teasing something with Io Sky and the Kabuki Warriors. I'm sure that was the original finish to Naomi's match. Io Sky versus Asuka. That could be great. Sign me up to see Io Sky versus Asuka. That's all I gotta say. Anyway, backstage interview. Jackie Redman is backstage with main event Jey Uso. Jey Uso missed last week's Raw, and Seth Rollins used the opportunity to take out his cousin Roman Reigns. And CM Punk, Jey Uso says receipts are coming and was handling family business. LA Knight walks up and says the line starts behind him. LA Knight and salutes that Jey Uso missed Raw on purpose. Jey Uso says he'll sends LA Knight to the back of the line. Yeet. LA Knight and CM Punk will team up to take on Braun Breaker and Big Bronson Reed in tonight's main event. Backstage segment. Maxine Dupree is walking with Akira Tozawa and Natalia. WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch is also showing walking backstage. She'll put the title on the line against Maxine Dupree next. Commercial break. They put over the WWE podcast happening this week. Backstage segment. Io Sky and the Kabuki Warriors are upset backstage. Io Sky says they didn't help her because she lost. An angry Asuka shoves Io Sky and walks off. Kairi Sane looks torn and looks at Io Sky before running after Asuka. Replay. Last week on Raw, Becky Lynch was confronted by Nikki Bella. Becky Lynch shoves her down. Backstage, Natalia was upset and challenged Becky Lynch to a match. Becky Lynch accepted a match against Maxine Dupree. Alright, so we get the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. Maxine Dupree accompanied by Akira Tozawa and Natalia versus the man Becky Lynch. Now, I did not know Becky Lynch had a new theme song, and it is what it is. But this match right here, this was a god awful match. The bell rings and they lock up before Becky Lynch powers her to the corner. Becky Lynch bullies her at bit and backing up. Becky Lynch applies a wrist lock and shoves her from behind. Maxine Dupree goes for a wrist lock, but Becky Lynch slings her down and walks her on. Maxine Dupree applies a side headlock, but Becky Lynch slides out and applies a side headlock. Maxine Dupree whips her off, but Becky Lynch shoulder tackles her down. Becky Lynch says, "Get out of my ring. You don't deserve to be here." Natalia tells Maxine Dupree to show Becky Lynch who she is. Becky Lynch opens the ropes for Maxine Dupree to leave. Maxine Dupree pretends to leave, but hitting an arm drag. Becky Lynch sidesteps and drop kicks sidesteps a drop kick and big boost her down. Becky Lynch beats her down in the corner and talks some trash before hitting a run-in forearm. Becky Lynch pulls her up by the hair and hits a back exploder. Becky Lynch grabs Maxine Dupree and hits a second back exploder. Becky Lynch connects with a third back exploder and is just playing with her food now. Becky Lynch by the hair pulls her up by the hair, so Maxine Dupree slaps her away. Becky Lynch goes for a manhandle slam, but Maxine Dupree counters with a stunner. Becky Lynch gets up holding her jaw. Maxine Dupree avoids an avalanche. Becky Lynch sets up for a springboard kick, but Maxine Dupree blocks it and applies an ankle lock. Becky Lynch twists out, so Maxine Dupree does a handspring. Maxine Dupree hits a clothesline and punches away at her in the corner. Becky Lynch rolls out of the ring. Recover. Maxine Dupree hits a baseball slide and gets fired up. Maxine Dupree hits her in the ring and goes to the top rope. Maxine Dupree hits a diving cross body block for a 2 count. Maxine Dupree sets up for a sharpshooter, but Becky Lynch kicks her away. Maxine Dupree hits a spin kick before doing a no corner roll. Becky Lynch rolls through and grabs the ropes, but the referee catches her. Maxine Dupree rolls her up for a 2 count. Becky Lynch kicks out and applies and disarms her for the win. The winner by submission is still your WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion, the man Becky Lynch. This match was god awful. Becky Lynch continues to talk trash to Maxine Dupree. Natalya acknowledges her before going to check on Maxine Dupree. Becky Lynch kicks Natalya down and leaves the ring. Division's locker room. Raw Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins is backstage with Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Big Bronson Reed. Seth Rollins says they are on the top of the world. Seth Rollins was expected to come to this dump of a town to deal with his CM Punk problem, but it turns out CM Punk has an LA Knight problem. LA Knight has a CM Punk problem. Now they have a Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed problem. Seth Rollins has no problem. Tonight isn't about him. It's about Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Seth Rollins says, "Boys, stack some bodies. I'm out of this dump." Seth Rollins says he'll head to the jet and get some Wi-Fi. Seth Rollins walks off. So yeah, backstage segment. CM Punk is showing walking backstage. So we go to commercial break. Video package. Bayley says she's not sure how she got here. She's been doing this for almost 13 years and has never felt this way. In a way, she wants more but feels less. She wants more and feels nothing. Bayley says it's her fault. In the process of her whole career, the role model felt like something before she called herself that. She was one before she called herself that. Bayley thought she could change and help the division, being someone people in the locker room could look up to, or someone to look up to behind the barricade. Now she's here by herself. She feels everything she's done has gotten her nowhere. She's here with nothing to show, not a championship or a win in the last year. Bayley can't remember the last time she felt proud of herself. Bayley says it's her fault. Bayley shakes her head. This was a strong, emotional segment right here. So this was good. Really strong and emotional video segment with Bayley. Really excellent. This was good. Backstage interview. Jackie Redmond is backstage with Lyra Kira. Jackie Redmond asks about what we just saw from Bayley. Lyra Kira hopes she's okay. Bayley cuts her out, so she had no idea. It can't be what she said to Bayley last week. She was right because Bayley cost her the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. It's not her fault. Bayley is on her own. Lyra Kira walks off. Backstage segment. Io Sky is walking backstage with when Stephanie McCure comes up to her. Stephanie McCure says Io Sky isn't the only one who was promised a title match and walks off. Rhea Ripley then comes up to Io Sky. Rhea Ripley gets a huge ovation. Rhea Ripley says she was looking forward to Io Sky getting a shot against Naomi if Asuka and Kairi Sane had just listened to her. Can she trust him? Io Sky says she doesn't appreciate what Rhea Ripley is trying to say. Io Sky warns Rhea Ripley, stay out of it. Io Sky walks off. This Friday on SmackDown, Drew McIntyre will address this attack on Cody Rhodes. Next Monday on Raw will be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Alright, so we get the main event of the evening, the tag team match, LA Knight and CM Punk versus Braun Breaker and Big Bronson Reed, accompanied by Paul Heyman. And this tag team match itself, this was I might as well say it was a fun. This main event match was fun for what it was. Before the match starts, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed avalanche to CM Punk and LA Knight. Bronson Reed shoulders LA Knight in the corner and punches him down. The referee calls for the bell to start the match as Bronson Reed continues to attack LA Knight. Bronson Reed punches LA Knight and tags Braun Breaker in. Braun Breaker sends LA Knight, who is still in his ring vest, into the ropes. But he lowers his head and eats a kick. LA Knight attacks Braun Breaker and wrenches away at the arm. LA Knight hits a short arm clothesline, and CM Punk applies his partner. CM Punk tags in and wrenches Braun Breaker's arm a few times. LA Knight tags in and punches Braun Breaker in the midsection. LA Knight applies a front face lock and tags CM Punk in. CM Punk hits Braun Breaker in the ribs and sends him into the ropes. Braun Breaker holds the ropes, but CM Punk follows him and hits a clothesline over the top rope. Bronson Reed runs in, but CM Punk ducks and tries to clothesline him over the top rope. Bronson Reed is too heavy to go over. CM Punk tries again for the same result. LA Knight tags in and tries to clothesline Bronson Reed over the top rope, but he's unsuccessful. CM Punk and LA Knight talk to each other before hitting the ropes and hitting a double clothesline over the top rope. So we go to commercial break. Back from the commercial break, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are taking it to CM Punk. Braun Breaker scoops CM Punk up and hits a rib breaker for a 1 count before doing some push-ups. Braun Breaker applies a head and arm lock, but CM Punk fights up and hits a jawbreaker. Bronson Reed tags in and avalanches CM Punk, but CM Punk is wrestling in a shirt. Bronson Reed drops an axe handle on CM Punk before applying a neck vice. Paul Heyman is wearing the shoe La Fala. Watches from ringside. CM Punk fights out of the neck vice and boosts him back before sidestepping an avalanche. Alright, LA Knight tags in and punches away at Bronson Reed. LA Knight hits some clotheslines, but Bronson Reed stays standing. LA Knight does a pair of clotheslines and takes Bronson Reed down with a leaping clothesline. The crowd is going wild. LA Knight hits a neck breaker and ties him up. LA Knight goes for a blunt force trauma, but Bronson Reed pushes him off. LA Knight fights back with a reverse DDT and rolls up to his feet. LA Knight goes for the second rope, but he leaps off to clothesline Braun Breaker on the apron. LA Knight sends Braun Breaker into the ring post. Bronson Reed then avalanches LA Knight from behind. LA Knight recovers at ringside, so Braun Breaker smashes him with a diving clothesline over the commentary table. Braun Breaker jumps onto the table and looks pumped up. So we go to commercial break. Back from the final break of the evening, Braun Breaker and LA Knight are down in the center of the ring. Braun Breaker pulls LA Knight back from making a tag. LA Knight tries to punch him away, but Braun Breaker hits an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Bronson Reed tags in and stumps LA Knight. Bronson Reed sends LA Knight into the ropes for a back elbow before mocking Roman Reigns with a point to the sky. Bronson Reed sends LA Knight into the ropes. LA Knight attempts a sunset flip, but Bronson Reed doesn't go down. Bronson Reed goes for a cannonball, but LA Knight moves. Braun Breaker distracts CM Punk as LA Knight goes for a tag. LA Knight wonders what CM Punk is doing. Bronson Reed pulls LA Knight away and hits a senton splash for a near fall. Bronson Reed knocks CM Punk off the apron and puts him in the corner. Bronson Reed puts LA Knight in the electric chair. Braun Breaker tags in, hits an avalanche dive and Bulldog 1-2. CM Punk breaks it up. Bronson Reed sends CM Punk out of the ring and tags in. Bronson Reed crosses LA Knight before going for a senton splash. But LA Knight moves. CM Punk gets on the apron and LA Knight starts crawling to the corner. CM Punk and Braun Breaker tag in. CM Punk hits a big boot followed by a clothesline. CM Punk sends him into the ropes and hits a heel kick. CM Punk hooks the head, does something barking, and hits a vertical suplex. CM Punk hits a running knee in the corner. CM Punk hits a second one, followed by a short arm clothesline. CM Punk goes to the top rope. Bronson Reed gets on the apron, but LA Knight knocks him down and hits a baseball slide into the commentary table. CM Punk stands on the top rope, and the crowd loudly applauds him. CM Punk hits a Macho Man elbow drop and takes off his shirt. CM Punk signals for the go to sleep, but the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins attacks him from behind. The winners by disqualification, LA Knight and CM Punk. The main event match was fine for what it was, but the DQ was just, it is what it is. All right, the vision takes it to LA Knight and CM Punk until main event Jey Uso comes out with a steel chair. Jey Uso comes down the Osway and hits Braun Breaker in the ribs with a steel chair before smashing it on his back. Bronson Reed challenged Jey Uso to get in the ring. Jey Uso ducks an attack from Bronson Reed. Seth Rollins rolls out of the ring before being attacked. Bronson Reed swats the chair out of Jey Uso's hand. Jey Uso punches away at him before hitting him in the back with the chair, knocking Bronson Reed out of the ring. Jey Uso stands tall with CM Punk and LA Knight. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce comes out to the stage. It will be easy for him to come out here and call Seth Rollins a liar and disrupts main events. Adam Pearce won't be angry and will see this as an opportunity. Adam Pearce says Seth Rollins just earned a freaking opportunity to defend his freaking title at WWE Clash in Paris against main event Jey Uso, LA Knight, and CM Punk. Seth Rollins' spirits. Adam Pearce says it's a fatal four-way. It is official. CM Punk and LA Knight start to argue before taking each other down. They punch away at each other. Jey Uso pulls LA Knight off, so LA Knight elbows him. CM Punk goes for the GTS on LA Knight, but the Vision attacks them from behind. Braun Breaker hits CM Punk with a spear. They send LA Knight out of the ring as Seth Rollins stomps away at CM Punk. Braun Breaker gets out of the ring and annihilates LA Knight with a spear at ringside. Bronson Reed picks up Jey Uso and hits a Death Valley driver. Bronson Reed goes to the top rope and hits Jey Uso with a tsunami. Braun Breaker puts LA Knight in the ring, and Seth Rollins hits him with a curb stomp. Seth Rollins signs Jey Uso up and hits him with a curb stomp. Seth Rollins says, "That's 2 down." Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed hold CM Punk up. CM Punk is furious and says he'll kill Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins says, Look in my eyes. What do you see?" Seth Rollins says he'll never be the world champion. Seth Rollins then crushes the Second City Saint with a curse on. Seth Rollins holds the World Heavyweight Championship up. The Vision stands tall to end the show. Well, the main event went exactly as I expected. I expected the Seth Rollins interference for the DQ they set up for the WWE Clash in Paris was fine, but the Vision destroying all of Seth Rollins' opponents after dozens exactly excites me to see it. Hashtag WWE Raw. And WWE Raw goes up there. If you guys enjoy my WWE Raw review on highlights, make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content. Follow my social media down below in the description. And I will see you guys live on Twitch tomorrow for some WWE NXT watch along live and reactions. And that's all I gotta say. It says overall, this was a pretty good episode of WWE Raw. It was wrestling heavy, which never complained about, and the wrestling was good. On top of that, a predictable main event, but it's WWE heading into the fall season, so they're not going to be doing their best stories now. But one thing that got the wrestling community upset: why did you let go Karrion Kross and Scarlett? Nobody from the crowd chanted, "We want Karrion Kross," and that's all I gotta say. But anyway, wherever Karrion Kross and Scarlett goes, I got nothing but respect. So in my experience, Karrion Kross and Scarlett might land up on Impact Wrestling or AEW, but we'll see. But anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow live on Twitch for some WWE NXT watch along live and reactions. So be there or be square. And that's all I gotta say. Alright, this your boy, Big Boy Snatch Down TV. Have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang.